Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, we're going to be zooming in here to the hourly chart, and we're going to be doing some technical analysis on the short term for Bitcoin, because it looks like Bitcoin is actually moving bullish here. As we can see over the last 12 to 14 hours or so, Bitcoin has been moving to the upside and has gradually been gaining steam and actually gotten above a longer term downtrend of resistance, that being this one right here. So Bitcoin has staged a little mini breakout, but we haven't seen an actual proper breakout following that because we haven't seen a lot of volume come into the market. But nevertheless, in today's video, we're going to be discussing whether or not Bitcoin is about to see some kind of major bullish breakout. There's a lot of different technicals that we want to look at, and we're also going to be looking at price targets, shorts and longs charts. We're going to be discussing all of that and trying to get to the bottom of which direction Bitcoin is going to be moving here over the next couple of days and just how far it is going to do so. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, guys. It does help out the channel if you do it, and I would be appreciative if you did it. But without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the technical analysis. Bitcoin is currently trading on Coinbase anyway, just a hair under $3,600. It was a couple dollars higher just a minute ago. If we look here on the minute chart, then we're going to see that Bitcoin has actually been rallying pretty strongly over the last couple of hours, ever since about 7:30 this morning Eastern Standard Time. Over the last couple of minutes, we've been moving to the downside. Now, of course, this video is going to go up about 2 hours or so after it's recorded, so go and check your charts for the very short term, but we are going to be doing some slightly longer term TA that should still be relevant when this video goes out. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap, and then we'll get back on into the TA on Bitcoin's chart, because there is a lot to discuss over there, but there are some things I want to talk about here as well. Bitcoin's daily volume is doing all right, hovering around $6 billion. You guys know I've talked about in many videos, volume and volatility are actually more important than price action if you have the ability to short, or if you have the ability to leave your position and then buy back in lower. Then the direction that the market is going doesn't actually mean as much as some people think it does. Bitcoin's up by about 0.5% over the last 24 hours and is kind of following the same trend as many of the top 10. We see that the top 6 cryptocurrencies are all in the green. Tether's red. That doesn't count, though. Tron is red, and that is unfortunate. We see 3 double-digit gainers in ALF, however you say that, I don't know, Crypto.com, and Hollow. We see that these 3 cryptocurrencies are in the double-digit green, all up over 13%. Definitely a good day for them, and a good day for the rest of the cryptocurrency market. The majority of the cryptocurrency market is in the green. We do see some red with no double-digit losers. Anyway, that's pretty much all we wanted to talk about here on CoinMarketCap. So let's go ahead and jump back on into the technical analysis over here on the chart. As we can see here, BART is no longer looking like he's going to happen. We see that BART is sitting here looking this way, kind of sad. He looks like one of those old frontiersmen with the raccoon hat with the tail popping out there. That's exactly what he looks like in my opinion. But anyway, we see that Bitcoin was below this little, not a long-term downtrend of resistance, but considering the amount of volatility we're having, definitely a long-term downtrend of resistance. Only about a week-long downtrend. We have this downtrend right here, and Bitcoin has actually gotten above it over the last 12 hours or so and is moving to the upside. Now, this is not a proper breakout yet, you guys know, because we haven't had a volume climax. In fact, a little bit before we broke out, we saw a volume climax of sell side action right down here with this red candlestick on the volume side, on the volume indicator. So we haven't seen a proper breakout yet. If Bitcoin started moving very quickly, which it very well may over the next couple of hours, and we saw a big green candlestick down here on the volume, then that would be indicative of a major bullish breakout. Now, we're going to be talking price targets later on in today's video, but I want to mention the technicals that are actually looking very bullish right now. I want to talk about the technicals and what they're saying, and like I said earlier, try to get to the bottom of which direction Bitcoin is going to be moving here over the next couple of days. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel, you'll know that I've been slightly more bearish on Bitcoin than I have been bullish, partially because of this downtrend of resistance, partially because Bitcoin had been trending downwards rather than trending upwards. But now both of those things have changed. Bitcoin has gotten above that downtrend of resistance. It's moved above it. And also, Bitcoin is generally trending to the upside. So I'm actually a little bit more bullish on Bitcoin now than I am bearish. I would like to see Bitcoin break bullish, of course, but we can't let our bias of what we would like to see happen affect our technical analysis. Anyway, let's go ahead and start looking at technical indicators. The first one I want to show you is, of course, one of my favorite technical indicators. That would be the Heikin-Ashi and the MACD. Now, the Heikin-Ashi isn't going to be terribly important down here on the hourly chart, but we are going to look at it here in a second. What we do want to look at, though, is the MACD. As we can see right here, Bitcoin's MACD is very bullish. It's not extremely bullish. It is definitely bullish, though, especially for what it's looked like recently. Bitcoin is looking at a bullish MACD. It's a higher MACD up here above the histogram, up here around 4 above the histogram. than it has been in quite some time in the last week or so, ever since we actually saw the proper bullish breakout. And Bitcoin is currently trading on that MACD, or the MACD is hovering above the 0 level of the histogram, that being the little bar chart down here that distinguishes the distance between the MACD line, this kind of bluish purple line, this line right here, and the signal line below it. So that's very good. That is indicating bullishness. Now, just because MACD is bullish on the hourly chart does not mean that we're going to see a breakout. You guys know this. We have to do our technical analysis with more than one indicator, but we do have more than one indicator. If we come out here to the 4-hourly chart, we see something even more interesting, and that is that, yes, we did see a bullish breakout on the chart right here, back over here about a week ago, and we did see that the MACD went bullish back when Bitcoin broke out right here, but it's been bearish ever since because it's been correcting down to the 0 level. The MACD has a tendency to try and move itself back towards equilibrium around 0. It has that kind of it has that property about it. It's coded to do that. And we've seen that happening. So the MACD turned bearish and was pulling back down here. But the MACD has actually gone all the way down and hit 0 again, and has actually gone bullish again in the last couple of hours, really in the last 24 hours or so. Bitcoin's 4-hourly MACD has turned bullish, and that's actually very important. 4-hourly MACD is really, really important for charts that are on this kind of time frame, this week-long time frame or so. Very, very important, and I do like to see that that has turned bullish. We also see that stochastic RSI on the 4-hourly, this indicator down here, this oscillator, has just gotten up into oversold territory, or excuse me, overbought territory, and what that typically means is that there's a little bit of bullish momentum. Now, if it were to stay up here for the next week or so, then that would be bearish because stochastic RSI would need to reset. But since we've just moved up here, that is typically indicative of bullishness in the recent past and in the short-term future as well. On the daily chart, let's move out to the daily chart. On the daily chart as well, we see that there is some bullishness on the MACD. Now, it's not very strong bullishness. We haven't gotten above the 0 level yet, but I would like to point out that this is one of the most bullish MACD crossings that we've seen in many, many years for Bitcoin. We do see that there's a bullish one right over here. Excuse me, I said that and I was thinking about the weekly chart. We have seen that there has been more bullish MACD crosses recently, but we haven't seen one in quite some time. This is the first one that's really happened in 2018. Now, excuse me, 2019. We did see kind of one right there, but that doesn't really count. This is the first major bullish MACD cross on the daily chart in 2019 itself, and it's only happened in the last couple of days, in the last week or so, and it does correspond with Bitcoin breaking bullish out here. These are all technical indicators that are just screaming bullishness for Bitcoin. Now let's go ahead and go back to the Heikin Ashi. And we're going to see that Heikin Ashi here on the 4-hourly has turned green. Now, it's turned green in the past, but we're already looking at about 4 candlesticks of green. We saw 5 there, 4 there. We're looking at about 4 candlesticks of green. And if Bitcoin can manage to stay green on the Heikin Ashi over the next couple of hours, over the next 12 to 16, 20 hours or so, and we continue seeing that green come through, that's going to be very good. That's going to be a lot of momentum for Bitcoin moving to the upside. I think that there's a pretty decent chance that we're going to see some kind of bullish breakout with volume confirmation happening over the next 24 hours. And I think it's going to be bullish. It doesn't necessarily have to happen, guys. You know, this is kind of as the title of the video in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is, it's a game of statistics and probabilities instead of a song of ice and fire. And it really does come down to just what sometimes what the bulls say, sometimes what the whales say, sometimes what the institutions say, sometimes what the technicals say, what the fundamentals say, what the government says, what the regulators say. It all comes down to a lot of different factors, and at the end of the day, we can do technical analysis, and technical analysis is a very powerful tool, but sometimes you get a curveball, and sometimes the market doesn't do it exactly what you think it's going to. But based on the technical analysis, it does look like Bitcoin is going to, it'll at the very least, be trending upwards here over the next couple of hours. There may not be a breakout, but if there is a breakout, let's go ahead and talk about that, and talk about price targets for Bitcoin. Let's go out here to the daily chart and we'll start looking at price targets. The first one I want to show you actually comes up on my 4 moving averages, and that would be the 100 daily simple moving average, this gray line right here. This is a very important moving average that we've seen Bitcoin trade around before. If we look back over here, Bitcoin, whenever it was going on its rallies in 2018, we would see Bitcoin would get above the 100 daily moving average and very quickly lose steam and fall back below it. It'd get above it, and then it'd lose steam and fall back below it. Get above it, lose steam, and then after the bears were well and truly in control, we wouldn't be able to actually get above this downtrending moving average right here. It actually acted as a level of resistance that Bitcoin could not get above. And now it's trending downwards very quickly to meet the chart as Bitcoin jumped off the cliff below $6,000 and is actually poised to be a quite potent level of resistance for Bitcoin, excuse my phone, over the next couple of hours, over the next couple of days. And if we do see a bullish breakout here on Bitcoin, then we would probably see that Bitcoin is going to come down, is going to come up and meet that level of resistance somewhere around $3,800. Now, that is only one level of resistance that we're looking at here. It's very possible that Bitcoin gets resistance on other levels, but the 100 daily moving average just so happens to be in a position that makes it a pretty strong candidate for being a level of resistance if Bitcoin does break out here. Now, there are more levels of resistance that I want to point out, but there is one thing I wanted to show you that I forgot to show you earlier, and that actually has to do with the longs chart. If we come over here to the 4-hourly chart, I want to show you guys just how strong the longs are looking right now. If you guys don't know, longs are, this is oversimplified, of course, but longs are basically just people betting for the market. They're buying Bitcoin, and they're putting valuation into the market. When longs are going up, that's typically very bullish for Bitcoin. And lately, longs have very much been going up. Ever since the 28th, 27th of January or so, about 3 weeks ago, longs have increased by about 25%. That's a big move. Now, shorts have been kind of just oscillating back and forth. Shorts is betting against the market, of course. That's when you borrow someone's money, sell it high, and then buy it back low and cover your position. We've seen a little bit of a spike here over the last 12 hours or so, but nothing really to write home about. We did see that, I mean, this was a rather significant move, but it hasn't really resulted in a lot for the chart. But the fact that the longs are rallying is a very good signal for Bitcoin. Now, you also have to keep in mind that when longs get really high like this, they have a tendency to fall over. So if we don't see a Bitcoin breakout in the next couple of days, this could actually turn from a bullish thing to a bearish thing because those longs are going to have to come down eventually. So if we don't see a bullish breakout, watch out for that. Anyway, getting back on into the levels of resistance and the price targets for Bitcoin. There's a couple more that I want to talk about that are based on levels of resistance, based on previous price history for Bitcoin. And a couple of them look something like this. We have a level of resistance kind of right here, where we see that this was the center of this consolidation pattern. We saw the market was oscillating around this level right here. We had a touch right there. We had a touch right there, and that level also just so happens to be the flat level of $3,800. And guys, I'll be level with you. I do think that if Bitcoin goes ahead and breaks out right now, I think Bitcoin is going to be going straight to $3,800 and is going to get resistance there and is going to stop there, and I'm not convinced it's going to get through it. I don't think Bitcoin has the power to start moving up to $4,000 just yet. We might in the future. Keep in mind that Bitcoin is an ever-evolving market and these things do change, but at the moment anyway, I'm not totally convinced that Bitcoin would be able to get through that level. But if we do see a bullish breakout, I'm expecting that $3,800 and the 100 daily moving average, are going to be very, very important levels of resistance. Let's go ahead and look at the daily chart and look at how those two line up also, because it's rather interesting. Over the next couple of days, depending on when this breakout is, it's very possible that this 100 daily moving average is going to be meeting up with this level of resistance and creating what I call the convergence of resistance. You of course have the convergence of support, you have the convergence of resistance. That's a topic we talk about in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and that's actually one of the videos that people really like in the course. I mean, they like all of them, but that's one of the favorite videos in the course, because when you see convergence of support and resistance, that tends to strengthen the support of the levels of support and resistance. And when we have Bitcoin trying to break out here, perhaps we see a breakout in the next 24 to 48 hours, and Bitcoin comes up here and tries to test $3,800, it's also going to be getting resistance in the region around that 100 daily moving average. So watch out for that. Anyway, guys, we've talked about the reasons why it looks like Bitcoin may be about to go bullish here. You guys know why I'm thinking that you guys know my argument for the bearish side, because I've been talking about it a lot over the last couple of days, and so I'm not really going to go ahead and rehash that today. Needless to say, there are arguments to the bearish side. The fact that Bitcoin was trending down here for a long time, the fact that Bitcoin shorts did have this little shoot up right there, and the fact that Bitcoin shorts are lower than Bitcoin longs, and that Bitcoin longs are going to have to come down eventually, and Bitcoin shorts are eventually going to start rising again, that's another argument for the bears. But for the short term anyway, it does seem that Bitcoin is ever so slightly more bullish than it is bearish, and it does look like there's a decent chance that we're going to see a breakout coming over the next 24 to 48 hours. Guys, tell me in the comment section down below what you think about that technical analysis. I would love to hear your opinions. I do read every single comment, and it does really mean a lot to me when you guys leave awesome comments. I love reading those. I also love reading the haters' comments, because it means that I am doing the right thing. It means that I'm doing enough that I have haters, and that's kind of funny that I have haters. I never thought that I would have haters on the internet, but apparently I do, and that's really funny to me. Anyway, guys, hate on. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.